Yeah, we're back on the SportsMax zone. President of the Jamaica Football Federation, Michael Ricketts, says the JFF will be lobbying the government to allow fans inside the National Stadium for the Reggae Boyz home World Cup qualifiers later this year. Here's what he said: we're highly optimistic. We are very hopeful that while we might not be able to have a full stadium if we can socially distance and allow some spectators in, it would bode very well. It all depends on the respective ministries, and they have a responsibility to protect the interest, health and well-being of every Jamaican. We don't want to be overbearing, but at the same time, we would love to have some spectators in the stands. So, George, I know that from a World Cup qualifying standpoint, especially when the team is doing well and the fans feel they have a shot, the National Stadium is a handful for visiting teams. And I think Michael Ricketts wants to secure at least some assurance that there'll be a lot of yellow and flag support in the stands for these.
If you've been to any of the track and field events that have had the green light for some time in Jamaica, to see how they manage the competitors and the other things around. I know that spectators haven't really been in, but that provides a framework for how the football administrators can build for something like a World Cup qualifier. And even so, the project that we are going to be working on very soon, the Jamaica Premier League, will also tell and inform the footballing stakeholders as to what they need to do to get the thing in shape for the World Cup qualifiers and the Reggae Boyz. Yeah,
we heard the Barbados Prime Minister over the weekend, Mia Mottley, announcing that they will be allowing spectators for sporting events in Barbados by mid-July. All things being equal, though, there will be guidelines stipulated for the return of that. So, and they've been moving away from curfews now. I think by the end of the month, all of the curfews in Barbados will end. Not so for many of the Caribbean territories whose COVID-19 numbers continue to be very, very worrying. But for the Reggae Boyz, who a lot has been said in recent weeks about the squad that they've been able to put together, and some big names in England very eager and willing to represent the Reggae Boyz now. The sort of interest and effervescence for this World Cup qualifying at a high level at the moment in Jamaica. And I think getting fans out and getting the interest in supporting the team up will bode very well for the team.
Absolutely. There's that word again. Ricketts must be happy that we are quoting him with his word bode. Yeah. The thing is, let me ask you a question though, like with just before you move on. Okay. All right. Well, let's keep it right there for the minute. Let us work out something. Jamaica international midfielder Javoughn Watson is urging fans to get behind the Reggae Boyz as they prepare for the World Cup qualifiers as well as action at the CONCACAF Gold Cup.
The World Cup, it's not going to take a 50-man roster. It's going to take a whole country. We watch football overseas and see when teams are playing, the whole country is behind them. So we know Jamaicans like winning, but everything comes with bittersweet. No matter what, in life, it's not always easy. So sometimes it's up, sometimes it's tough. And I'm urging people during the rough time to try to stick with the guys, because when it's good, everybody is happy, and we always want to win. We go out there to win every time, but sometimes the chip don't fall. We need the country behind us so we can push forward. It's going to take the whole country. Sometimes the criticism behind the football is bad, which is that come with the sport, but sometimes we can motivate instead of pushing down somebody. You understand?
That's Javoughn Watson, the Jamaica international midfielder. Yeah, calling for support for the boys, but it's easy to support a team where the players in the team are household names, Lance. And you just mentioned the army of foreign-based players that are now available to the national senior team head coach Theodore Whitmore and those who've been registered for the CONCACAF Gold Cup.
Yes.
They are household names in other jurisdictions, but not household names as Reggae Boyz. And this will affect the kind of support around the team that Javaughn Watson wants to be in place, and that we can look back on when we talk about the 1998 World Cup qualifying campaign, where everybody knew almost everybody in that team.
Yeah, so the fact is that a lot of these players have never played in Jamaican colours in Jamaica before. And a couple of outings that they've had have been thousands of miles away, and not everyone had television viewing of that. So you are right. There needs to be a connection with this new group and the fans, because I've heard many people, football fans, mention in recent months that they're seeing a Jamaican starting roster that they can hardly identify any of the players.
Yeah, and that's an opportunity for the JFF to have a serious JFF introducing Micah Hilton, just making up a name, so you need to introduce the players to the fans so that you can have that support. Meanwhile, Watson says he's confident Theodore Whitmore's team has the quality to succeed.
We always got good players. That is the one thing with Jamaica team. We always got quality players, and it's always some little stuff that always throw off the team. And as what most people looking out, looking in, won't understand, it's more than just the coaching staff or the players or JFF. We're not pointing finger at nobody, but it's just some little things that we need to be tightened, because we always have a good team, but having a good team and not qualifying, that still don't say nothing. You don't make history. And as what Coach Whitmore always say, tired to hear about 98. We need to qualify a next team so you can forget about 98 and start talking about 2021, 2022. You understand what I mean? So we have a good chance of winning both the Gold Cup and qualifying for the World Cup. So I think we need to just get things together, because time is going up.
Yeah, you know, you can have the smallest issue, Lance.
Yeah.
And you can magnify that small issue till it becomes a big issue, and then it becomes a bigger issue, then a big issue becomes a crippling issue. So to hear Javaughn Watson talk about the issues that have knocked the good teams and good players that he's seen over time is instructive, because I'm saying this. We forget, when Argentina won their first World Cup in 1978, you'll recall very well, the country was under a dictatorship at the time. The military junta was in charge, and when Daniel Passarella and company, Mario Kempes was the hero of that tournament. That was a tournament played at a time when people were being oppressed in the country, opposition voices and dissenting voices silenced, people taken away. It was upheaval in that country. Under those conditions, those footballers, Argentina hosted that tournament, they focused their minds and they won the tournament. So I'm saying, if you compare that and those conditions to the conditions that have caused Reggae Boyz teams to not play well, you could say that those teams had champagne problems, lads.
I would say so, because they had that 78 reference that you just made. They had beaten a pretty solid Dutch team and beat them properly as well. So, you know, the Reggae Boyz need to, you know, to focus. They are at the moment the only Caribbean team guaranteed of a place in the final round of the World Cup qualifiers, which will be pretty tough for them. Let's have a look at where they start. Against Mexico, and they'll be up against, that's the 2nd of September. Then they face Panama on the 5th. And then 3 days after that, they face Costa Rica. So 3 very tough matches there to start their World Cup qualifying campaign, this Jamaican team. But there is this, of course, the Gold Cup is coming before the World Cup qualifiers. The Gold Cup starts in July, and the Jamaicans will be up against Suriname there on the 12th, followed by one opponent to be decided 4 days after that, and then Costa Rica on the 20th of July. So the CONCACAF Gold Cup will, I think, George, provide for Coach Theodore Whitmore and the coaching staff an opportunity to gel this team ahead of the World Cup qualifiers, because there's no question that the World Cup is a far more important tournament than the Gold Cup is.
Yeah, if I could just get the World Cup graphic once again, I just want to make sure of the length of time between the first game and the last. Yeah. September 2 to September 8, 3 acid tests in 6 days.
Yes.
This is going to be a significant test of the boys' mettle. And for those who've criticized Whitmore for looking at players and they don't see a definitive 11 yet, this is why he can't form a definitive 11 yet, because he's going to need a very strong squad. He's going to pick and sift through all that he has, yes, because he needs the right soldiers for the battle.
Yes.
Lance, Mexico away, Panama at home, and Costa Rica away. I don't think you could ask for, well, you could throw, apart from the USA is the only acid test not in this.
Yeah.
This is a very, very difficult sequence of 3 games in 6 days for the Reggae
and it
Boyz.
is a departure, George, from the regular FIFA dates to allow World Cup qualifying like this, because usually you have a break and you have 2 games, not 3. But because the competition, because of COVID-19 issues, the competition has been condensed, so you now have 3 games being squeezed into a FIFA date period. So very, very tough for the players. And you are right, there will have to be some level of rotation within the squad, and Whitmore will have to ensure that he has very, very strong teams playing in all those matches, because as you see there, in about 6 or 7 days, they have 3 matches against top teams. Yeah, break time. Back with more on The Zone after this.